If I woke up today at 40 years old, with almost no savings and decades of money mistakes behind me, this is exactly what I do with my money to catch up fast. I'm talking to you. If you're between 35 and 60, you feel behind, you're worried about retirement, and you're tired of pretending everything is fine when the numbers clearly aren't. You might have a house payment, maybe kids, maybe debts, maybe a job that pays okay but not enough to feel safe. This video is about turning that reality into a real catch-up plan. So stay with me until the end, because the last money move is the one that separates the people who finally get rich later in life from the people who stay stuck until their 70s. Before we dive in, if you're serious about rebuilding your money life, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Here inside Dave's Dividend Lab, we build real practical plans to live off investments, not just motivational speeches. Let's start with a mindset shift nobody gave us when we were younger. When most of us grew up, money was something you earned, you spent, and maybe you saved a little if anything so brew no mess. You probably learned to use money to reduce stress or feel better for a moment. Food delivery, shopping, weekend trips, a new phone, that quick hit of feeling in control again. If I were 40 and starting over, I would not see money as a toy anymore. I'd see every dollar as an employee I'm responsible for. That shift changes everything you do after payday. Imagine each dollar wearing a little badge with your name on it. When you spend that dollar on something that disappears, you just fired that employee forever. There's no chance for that little worker to bring friends back. But when you invest that dollar into a productive asset, it clocks in and starts working for you every single day. It doesn't complain, it doesn't sleep, it just quietly compounds in the background. At 35, 40, 50, you don't have time for lazy employees anymore. You need an army of dollars that work overtime while you're at your job, with your family, or finally resting on a weekend. So the first money move I'd make is brutally simple. Every time money hits my account, the first part that moves is not rent, not debt, not lifestyle. The first part goes straight to future me. I would pick a starting percentage that hurts a little, but not so much that I quit. For a lot of people that might be 10%, for some it might need to start at 5 and grow. The important thing is this: it moves automatically without you deciding every month. Automatic transfer, automatic contribution, automatic investing. If it depends on willpower forever, it will die no meio do caminho. Now, there's another hard truth we need to face as adults. If you're between 35 and 60 and you feel behind, it's not only because you didn't invest, it's also because your income never broke through certain levels. I'm not saying you didn't work hard. You probably worked incredibly hard. But nobody taught us how to intentionally build higher-paying skills that the market fights over and happily pays more for. If I were 40 starting late, I would not chase every opportunity on the internet. I would pick one high-value skill and go uncomfortably deep for the next 2, 3, 5 years. That skill might be something connected to what you already do at work. Maybe project management, data analysis, sales, negotiation, leadership, or a specific software every company in your field needs, but nobody domina direito. Or it might be something that lets you earn on the side. Copywriting, consulting, coaching in your area of experience, video editing, short-form content production, paid ads, financial spreadsheet building, automation using simple tools. The key is this: one skill that can realistically take you from whatever you make today to a meaningfully higher number over the next few years, without depending on luck or going viral. I would design a weekly rhythm, a few hours every weeknight or on weekends improving that skill, taking courses, practicing on real cases, volunteering to help friends or small businesses just to get reps and feedback. Yes, it's tiring after work and family, but here's the choice. You can be exhausted and stuck or exhausted and moving forward. Either way you're tired, only one path brings future relief. As that skill grows, every extra dollar of income becomes fuel for your investing machine. Instead of letting lifestyle swallow every raise, you'll redirect raises, bonuses, free-lays, and overtime into your army of money employees. Now let's talk about where those employees actually work, because if you're starting late, you do not have time for complicated, over-engineered strategies that only look smart on Instagram. You need something boring, powerful, and automatic. If I were 40 and behind, I would build a simple system around broad diversified index funds and dividend-paying ETFs. Nothing sexy, nothing que impresiona na mesa do bar, just vehicles that quietly compound for decades. I'd choose one or two broad market funds that own hundreds or thousands of companies. Then I'd add a couple of strong dividend ETFs that focus on businesses that actually share profits consistently. The goal is not to guess which stock will explode next year. The goal is to capture the growth of the entire productive economy and build streams of cash flow that get bigger as you age. Then comes the part most people skip. I'd set up automatic monthly contributions to those funds. Even if it's a small amount at first, the key is consistency. Money going in every single month without negotiation. When you're 35, 40, 50, time still works for you, but the window is narrower. That means the size of your contributions matters more now than it did at 20. You compensate with seriousness and volume. Instead of obsessing over daily prices, I'd check in rarely. Maybe once a quarter to make sure everything is still aligned. No panic selling on bad news. No overreacting to market noise. No falling in love with one ticker. Think about this like building a rental property portfolio without the leaks and phone calls. Every month you're buying more tiny pieces of the world's businesses that send you dividends for simply owning them. Now, here's where many adults underestimate their advantage. Younger people might be better with technology, but you have something they don't: experience, stories, and credibility. That is rocket fuel for your personal brand. If I were 40, 50, or even 60, I would start quietly building a digital footprint around the problems I understand best. Not pretending to know everything, but documenting what I'm learning and what I've lived. That might mean posting on LinkedIn about your industry, sharing weekly lessons from your career, or creating short videos about how you're rebuilding your financial life step by step. You don't need millions of followers. 1,000 real people who trust you can change your opportunities forever. Clients, partnerships, job offers, consulting requests, speaking gigs, side income streams you can't even see yet. Twice a week, I'd share something useful. A breakdown of a mistake you made, a process you improved at work, or how you're handling money differently now to protect your future and your family. Over a few years, that public track record becomes more valuable than a generic line on a resume. People can see your thinking, your consistency, your growth. That's how doors open in the modern economy. By the way, if you're already getting ideas for content or skills you could share, pause and write them down after this video. Then come back and drop one idea in the comments so we can inspire each other. Now we need to face the heaviest part. A lot of us between 35 and 60 got trapped in the same pattern. Every time income went up, lifestyle quietly went up with it, sometimes even a little faster. New car, slightly bigger house, nicer vacations, better phone, more eating out. Nothing wrong with enjoying life, but we never created a big enough gap between what comes in and what goes out. If I were 40 and starting late, I would treat lifestyle like a powerful medicine. Useful in small doses, dangerous when you keep increasing it every time something feels uncomfortable. I'd take a hard look at my biggest expenses: housing, transportation, subscriptions, eating out, kids' activities, impulse shopping. Then I'd ask a brutal question: what here is actually buying freedom, and what just buys short-term appearance? Maybe that means trading a car payment for a reliable used car. Maybe it means downsizing, or negotiating bills, or cancelling things you barely use but keep just in case. The point is not to live miserably. The point is to create a large, persistent gap between income and expenses, so your investing machine can finally breathe and accelerate. Because here's a sobering reality. The people who try the hardest to look successful in their 30s and 40s are often the ones who feel the most trapped in their 50s and 60s. The families who quietly live below their means, even when nobody understands, are usually the ones who have options later. They're the ones who can say no to toxic jobs and yes to opportunities. So if I were 40 and behind, my rule would be simple: live below my ego, not above my income. Let other people win the status game. I'm busy winning the freedom game. Let's tie all of this into a concrete 10 to 20 year blueprint, because if you just hear ideas, nothing changes. But if you see a timeline, your brain can finally say, okay, I know what to do next. From 35 to 40, or from 40 to 45, Your job is to build the foundation. Pay future. You first choose and develop one high-value skill and set up automatic contributions to your investing machine. Those years might feel intense. You'll be juggling work, family, learning, and cutting back on some lifestyle habits. But these are the years where your story changes direction. From 40 to 50, the focus is on increasing the gap. As your skill starts paying more, you resist lifestyle inflation, and you aggressively increase how much you invest, especially into dividend-paying assets that can start sending you real cash flow. At the same time, your personal brand and network slowly expand. You become known as the person who understands their craft, shows up consistently, and thinks seriously about building a stronger financial future. From 50 to 60, the compounding you started earlier begins to feel real. Dividends grow, portfolio value grows, and the skills and reputation you built often allow you to earn without destroying your health. You may still work, but you're no longer fully dependent on a single paycheck. You have flexibility. You can negotiate, pivot, reduce hours, or choose roles that align with your values, not just your bills. And when you cross 60, you're not staring at a terrifying cliff. You're landing on a platform that you've been building for decades, investments that pay, reduced lifestyle pressure, and a brain that knows how money really works. Is this guaranteed? Of course not. Life is messy. Health, family, the economy, everything can bring surprises. But this plan gives you something most people never have: direction, leverage, and momentum. If this is resonating with you, and you're still here with me, take a second to like this video, subscribe, and share it with one friend your age who keeps saying it's too late to start. Because here's what I believe: as long as you can learn, work in some capacity, and think clearly, it's not too late. The strategy just needs to be different than the advice we give to 20-year-olds. So let's recap the money moves I'd make if I were between 35 and 60 and behind on my retirement. First, I'd treat every dollar like an employee and send part of every paycheck straight to future me. Second, I'd choose one high-value skill and go deep, using evenings, weekends, and small windows of time to become rare and valuable in the market instead of just working harder in circles. Third, I'd build a boring, automatic investing machine around broad index funds and dividend ETFs, feeding it every month, regardless of headlines, trusting time and consistency more than predictions. Fourth, I'd quietly build a personal brand around my experience and my journey, using simple posts and videos to document what I'm learning and create opportunities that my resume alone could never bring. Fifth, I'd stop trying to look rich. I'd cut the expenses that only feed my ego, and I'd choose a simple, sustainable lifestyle that lets me buy back years of freedom later. You don't have to be perfect with any of these. You just have to be better this year than you were last year, and keep walking even when it feels slow, even when nobody is clapping for you yet. Future. You is already out there in time. They will either be grateful that you started this plan now, or disappointed that you watched another video, nodded, and changed nothing. That choice is being made hoje. If you're choosing action, tell me in the comments which of these 5 moves you're going to start with this month. Income skill, automatic investing, lifestyle cuts, personal brand, or paying future you first. And if you want help building your dividend machine step by step, watch the next video in this playlist. I'll walk you through how to design a simple portfolio that can actually pay your bills one day.